One of the things you point out in 1963, if you asked people in America, are you upper class or are you poor, people were reluctant because there was that egalitarian sense. So people did not want to, there was no ostentation. People they resisted saying they were upper class. So pretty much everybody in this room is elite. Do they think they're elite? Do they know that they are the elite?
I'm looking at members of the audience who grew up in an upper middle class home or more affluent. Have you really had any contact with people who struggled in school? I have a quiz for you.
I want to ask you that. You actually have an online thing called the bubble test.
The bubble quiz.
Which I actually took, and it's one of those things where you ask a series of questions and you determine whether or not you actually live in a bubble. And I got to say, it's kind of disturbing. I don't think that I know anybody who scored above a 20, if I'm thinking about it, that sort of thing. But
below a 20.
Below a 20. So I mean, where can you find that? I think everybody here would like to take that test.
If you Google NewsHour bubble quiz, it'll come up. And it's 25 questions. Can I run a couple of questions?
Oh, yeah, that's fascinating.
25 questions. Score can go from 0 to 100. The lower your score, the thicker your bubble. Mm-hmm. And so I have some serious social scientists questions like, have you ever lived for a year of your life in a neighborhood where fewer than half of your neighbors had college degrees? Okay, those are pretty boring. But then there are questions I just simply had fun with. Such as, in the past year, have you or your spouse stocked your fridge with a mass market American beer? The disdain of the new upper class for Coors and Bud is palpable.
Okay, this is Milwaukee, so.
And it's also Milwaukee. Putting aside people from Milwaukee, in New York and Washington, if their beer hasn't been brewed by Belgian elves, they are not going to drink it. So, you know. But I have other questions that get to. Have you ever walked in a factory floor? Mm-hmm. Not worked in a factory floor. Have you ever seen one? Do you know what it sounds like? Do you know what it looks like? Do you know what it smells like? If you haven't done that, you are completely divorced from the world which has produced everything you wear and use, okay? And the most important question of all, have you ever held a job that causes a body part to hurt at the end of the day? And I don't mean that you have to be completely aching because you work in construction. If you just stand behind a counter in a store and your feet hurt, that counts. But if you have not held that kind of job ever in your life, how the hell can you empathize with the lives of a very large proportion of the American population?
Or jobs where you come home and you really smell bad.